Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Thank you for watching. We're talking about what's going on out there right now. We have heavy snow that has continued to hit the northern tier of counties. We have a blizzard warning in parts of Montana. That system's heading our way. What can you expect? We're going to talk about all of that right now as big time changes are heading our way here in the valley. And we'll take a look at what's going on nationally as well in this update. Say, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want you to know that if you are in need of a heating system, this is a great time to take advantage of the installation of a brand new Bryant heating or cooling system. You can get up to $2,000 off in a rebate and get 97% efficiency to boot. Call Robert Gibbons Sons today and please let them know that Hutch sent you. Let's take a look at what we have going on that radar right now. As we head into the evening hours, most of the snow showers pushing into the Arrowhead of Minnesota here. You can see that band. We're staying warm enough for rain. Believe it or not, there's another batch of rain shower activity making its way through the Grand Forks area. Posted a video a little while ago that temperatures in Fargo, even though we're just barely above that freezing mark, we're cooling down enough for things like bridges, overpasses, and my deck to freeze, which means sidewalks are going to be freezing up as well. Out to the west, you see that little weather wiggle working its way through the big sky country of Montana. That system there causing winds that have gusted over 60 miles per hour today. A couple of wind gust reports in northwestern portions of South Dakota. That particular weather-making system here is causing reduced visibility out near Wolf Point, Montana, and Culbertson. Now, just hearing from the National Weather Service out in the Bismarck area that they are issuing an advisory for winter weather in the western part of the state. There's going to be wind that's rolling out of Montana with that system. So the blue counties you see there from the oil patch in Williston through the McKenzie County area all the way down into Dickinson is a winter weather advisory for wind and some light snow, maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more, but it's going to be those winds gusting that cause some blustery conditions. The pink that you see in the far left there, that's Glendive, Montana. That's Sidney, Montana, and that out there is where we're expecting to see some blizzard-like conditions ensue in the plains, the high plains of Montana, south of Wolf Point. So here is a Highway 2 corridor moving out of Williston through places like Poplar, Brockton, Wolf Point. This area here, blizzard warning is in effect. And here is a look at what's going on area roads. Now, as we take a look elsewhere, we'll go back to the other radar here and take a look now. Visibility is here still reduced, and we have some terrible traffic conditions. David Knutson, thanks for joining me on the YouTube channel here. I'd love to have you hit the subscribe button, and Northern Grace joining as well. How are the roads in the FM area? Are they icy and slick? Let's go to the road reports right now. These are the questions I'm getting, and if you have one, that's the fun about interactive weather. Right here. I'll be happy to try to do my best to keep up with your questions and answer as many as I can. Road conditions are something I wanted to put on here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the national picture. Are you kidding me? Look at the heavy rain working its way through the Mississippi River Valley all the way down to the Delta and just moving off the coast into the Gulf there outside of Texas. For us, we have wintry travel conditions in northern Minnesota, and things are getting cold enough for icy roads here in the northern plains. We'll take a look at the impacts, but this system that's working its way out of our area will work through the Great Lakes, and this cold air mass that's going to punch in behind it is going to bring lake effect snow again to the northeast. A couple of systems heading toward the Pacific Northwest as well, while showers and thunderstorms rumble through Memphis, Tennessee, and on into the Virginias tonight. All right, let's take a look then at those road conditions, and we'll start with North Dakota, since that's what you're asking about, Northern Grace. And David, thanks again for checking in. Here we go. Let's see if I can pull up the very latest. All right, here we go. When you see yellow on the map here, the Fargo zone here has just been placed in yellow, and that is icy road conditions. So that is indeed taking place right now. Temperatures on road surfaces, particularly bridges and overpasses, are becoming iced up. And in fact, we have an accident reported or an incident reported out here. This is out to the west of Castleton, a crash on the eastbound lanes of I-94 right now, and that's breaking news, we'll call it right here on Hutch's Weather, breaking news. Okay, so crash going on out there. We do have some icy road conditions. I-29 north of town is icy. We do see right in town that they're even reporting icy conditions. Let's look at the interchange of I-94 and I-29, and right there as we take a peek, we can see the wet on the roads, but yeah, it's that black ice, right? Temperatures hovering around those marks where things get slippery really quick out there. By morning, we'll have much more of the same. So keep that in mind. Now, as we continue our trek across the region, rather, Let's take a look up north because there's been visibility problems up in and around areas north of Grand Forks. So here we have a travel alert in this purple area. This is the Pembina area, the Cavalier area. And as we look at Cavalier, there is snow that is piled up on the roads and the roadside, and it looks like it's very foggy and hazy out there. Reduced visibilities across this part of the state. Enough snow out there with temperatures that are warm enough where we do definitely have some wet roads reported up there, but the purple colors mean they're covered with snow. So there are some snow-covered roads in the northeastern North Dakota zone. Highway 2, if you're asking, I've gotten a couple of reports. Thank you so very, very much for those. As we look up into Starkweather in the Devil's Lake Basin, we're seeing some evidence here of wet roads still, but it's flirting with those icy conditions. Deb, good to see you on board. It's good to have you as well, Cheryl, watching from near Nadawash. I hope things are going good there. I've had a lot of reports from Ada and on up toward Mahnomen of some very icy conditions. Let's go to the Minnesota DOT. So roads are going to get icy as we go through the overnight hours, and that snow out in Montana will be heading our way. Still a winter storm warning in and around Roseau County. Let's go right up there first and fast with a look at the latest road conditions. Where you see the pink lines on the Minnesota road reports, those are completely covered with snow. Here's Badger to Roseau to Salo, and we do have, look at that. That's snow on the road out there, and it is still not even that windy yet, but we still have a few flakes flying. As this system is exiting, we're going to get a little bit of a breakout here, but the temperatures tonight are going to flirt with those that are cold enough for things to stay icy. Here's Badette, and there's flakes flying on top of flakes on the road. It's a slushy, wet, heavy snow that's going to freeze, and that means icy conditions are going to be likely. Now, throughout the day today, we have had a number of incidents on Highway 2 from, say, near the Grand Rapids area right out to Bemidji. So very icy roads there south of Red Lake as we take a look there. Not a lot of snow on the road surface, so that's a good thing, but we definitely do have incidents to report to you all over the arrowhead of Minnesota. So as you get out towards Eveleth, if you get out towards Ely, things are a little bit wild and woolly out in those parts, and I believe it's more due to ice. Here's a look at a light layer of snow, and this is US 169 out there, so we do have some pretty icy conditions and slippery roads out in the arrowhead of Minnesota. Had a couple of you ask me about travel to and from Duluth. How about the Twin Cities? Right now, I-94, as we take a look here, as we look towards Sauk Center, we have a westbound crash on I-94, just near Albany. As we look out near the Avon area here at the truck stop, we see that we do have some icy roads, some hazy skies out there. So it's really soupy out there, and there is some of this stuff that's basically freezing on the road surface. So watch it out there. Now, if you're looking at the Highway 9 moving up through the Ada area, we do have some icy roads reported there. And I did hear from a few of you that said the same. So thank you very much. Jody, where's the best snowmobile weather? Well, today it's that sloppy snow, right? If you like sledding and slush and slop, you saw up near the international border, that's what we have. Winter storm warning. Snowfall totals have not come in yet, but there's been snow all day throughout the day, but it's compressing, it's wet, it's sloppy, but the snowmobile weather is taking place in the Northern Valley. All right. That is a look at our roads here. I want to show you Montana because Montana has that wind and the snow that's working its way through the region. And this is what's going on for my viewers out there in Plentywood. Here's Hutch's old, my grandparents' stomping grounds up in northeast Montana. Let's go out to the west of Brockton out there in Poplar, Montana, and see what things are looking like. We've got snow, we've got ice, and things are pretty not nice as we are looking out in the Highway 2 corridor to the west of the oil patch. Get up a little bit farther north as we go up in toward that area north of Freud, Flaxville. And again, we got very, very icy and snowy roads going on there. Now, the real wind and the blizzard warning is out towards Glendive. So if we go down to the I-94 corridor, we can kind of take a peek at what Glendive is looking like in and around Webo, Montana. Temperatures there are near freezing. Not a lot of snow is there yet. It's mainly to the north, and this camera hasn't taken a picture since earlier today. So we'll move along and get a little closer to Circle, Montana, and points north of there. It's just too dark out there. to see much of anything. So horizontal flakes were flying in and around the Wolf Point area when I was looking a little bit earlier. Let's take a look up there. Yeah, so we definitely have wind. We have snow on the roads in Montana, and that system's working its way towards us. Let me see if I've got any questions on the Facebook side. Again, I'm going live. You can see the latest on hutchesweather.com or right here on these channels, and your hour-by-hour forecast is coming up right now. So here's a look. See if I got any questions from you. Thanks so much for joining me, Terry. Starting to ice up, and where are you at? That's good. Do you have a question for Fargo? Thank you very much for checking in. It looks like you're just answering a question, so thanks for helping out. Wondering how the roads are. It's 34 out. Yeah, it's definitely getting slippery out there in the high spots. Fergus Falls to Moorhead, more the same. The closer you get to Moorhead, things will get a little bit icier. St. Hilaire showing 35, but there are wet roads out there. So there were some bands of heavy rainfall making their way through the region. Very slippery out Ada and Norman County. Thank you for your report, Rachel. Appreciate it. Cullum, very rainy midday. Thank you for your report there. As always, Brad, I appreciate it. Daughter just drove from Fargo to Wahpeton and said she definitely slowed down. Terry, thank you for the report. What point do you see the weather pattern changing to more snow? Well, right now we're really warm, but there's some cold coming, so let's get to it. Many of you mentioned the rainfall. Let me go ahead and show you a couple of facts with regards to the rain that we saw today across the valley. So let's get started with that. And go. Here we go. This is a look at the reports of rainfall from across our area as I put this up for you. What you're going to notice is the rainfall out west was not too plentiful out there, but here in the valley where you see these blue colors here, we had 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of December rainfall. Not too common out here, but when we zoom in, you're going to see some areas that got close to 1/2 of an inch in Norman County. So you get out of the Red River Valley and it really ramped up here. Look at the Polk County area as we look out there in southern Polk County. 37/100ths of an inch there, and 1/2 of an inch just outside of Thief River Falls. So there were some areas picking up some significant rainfall. That was rainfall up in that area. A little bit of snowflakes mixing in. Now up north, this was snow, and it was heavy, wet snow as you look into places like the Cavalier area there. 43/100ths of an inch of liquid equivalent when you melt down the snow and the rain that fell today. So that's a look at the moisture that was available in the snow for today. Here's what the forecast looks like. Let's get down to Skippy business here and talk about the hour-by-hour forecast for the Northern Plains. Then we'll look a little bit more beyond this system here because we have something to let you know about right here on Hutch's Weather. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this system as it winds its way through. What we want to watch and focus on is this low out here by the border with Montana. That is another clipper that will be working it through its way through. It's kind of a double-barreled system, but notice how close the isobars are way out here to the west. That's why there's the blizzard warning out there. That's why the winter weather advisory was issued by the National Weather Service in the Bismarck office for this windy system that will be chugging its way through during the overnight hours. So here we go. Notice the bands of snow kind of increasing right along the Montana-North Dakota border. If you're in Bowman, if you're in Rame, or anywhere out there, you can expect some very windy conditions. 1 to 3 inches is what Hutch was saying on the snowfall forecast with this system, and I'm going to stick to that out there. Could be a couple of pockets that get some blowing and drifting off, obviously, with winds out there in the western part of the state overnight tonight that are going to get ridiculous. This is midnight. So we're expecting places like Baker, Montana, Glendive, Montana, Miles City, Montana to see some ripping winds out there and flakes of flying horizontally as we go through the midnight hour and beyond. Here comes the low pressure center. So our winds are going to die. We'll have a lull. Continued periods of snow in southern Manitoba into Ontario as we look on out toward the Devil's Lake Basin. The wind will become more and more northerly, and it's really going to get gusty. You're looking now as we approach the daybreak time frame. Here we'll have light snow showers in our area. Periods of light snow showers. You see how hit and miss they are across the area? The only place where we have some persistent showers of snow is up there near Lake of the Woods, where they've already had a day's worth of snow out there. So wind will be hitting the area as you're rising and shining. Our roads will be icy. I'm not expecting a lot of snow here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. We're talking an inch or less for most of us. Up north, that's a different story. You could see another couple of inches easily to maybe even as many as 4 inches added on near the international border in Lake of the Woods County, northern Roseau County. So if you're looking for snowmobile snow, that's it. That's where you take the snow machines. Now you're looking at midday. The wind begins to decrease a pinch across greater parts of North Dakota, but if you look into western Minnesota, we still have very gusty winds. This does include the I-94 corridor between Minneapolis and Fargo, so through Fergus Falls. Not a lot of snow, but wet roads will become very slippery and stay that way throughout the day. Temperatures will be steady to slowly falling with north winds, and then here comes the Arctic blast. See this blue line here? That's some mighty chilly air that's going to be diving southward, and as it does so, we're going to get flakes of snow. We're going to have north wind that'll be very strong and temperatures falling throughout the day. How much snow are we talking with this system? It does not look like a lot. I will put up this model's rendition of the snowfall forecast, but you can see that as we go through time here, most of the snowfall will be along the international border here with an additional 1 to 4 inches of snow there. Notice the Fargo area here. This says up to about an inch of snow. I think this to be a little bit on the high side. We may see a half of an inch. We may see an inch. Nonetheless, it's going to be icy all day. This snow will be falling in the mid-morning hours, and by the time we get to the mid-afternoon hours, it should be gone. Notice that out in parts of Big Sky country of Montana, we're looking there at Beach, North Dakota. This thing is really ramped up. It says 7.2 inches there. Not sure that I buy that. Let's take a look at a second opinion here. For that, I'm going to go to my friends over here at the, well, let's look at this fun model and see. Yep, there's going to be some pockets of enhanced snowfall right along the Montana, North Dakota border. A couple of models are showing this as this blizzard-warned area could see some pockets that get over 3 inches of snow. Keep that in mind, the Black Hills to boot as well. So snowfall, wind, and all of that expected to continue into your day, particularly the first half to 3/4 of your day on your Monday. All right, I've gotten a couple of facts together for you, and one thing I want to make sure that you hear is that we're heading towards some mighty cold weather. I have other videos on that. Maybe you've seen that, but I am expecting some of the coldest wind chills of the season for many of us as we go through. Let's start with your forecast, and let's take a look at the headlines. And the headlines look like this. Here in the Northern Plains, I am expecting, thanks again for watching on my YouTube channel there, and thanks for subscribing as well. On Monday, gusts to 49 miles per hour will buffet the region. There'll be some bands of light snow. Again, an inch or less for Fargo, but a few areas could pick up more. Near the international border, it could be quite treacherous out there. A lot of us will have icy roads with falling temperatures. In the afternoon, we'll really start diving down into the hard freeze type of stuff. Wednesday and Thursday, sub-zero air temperatures and dangerous wind chills that are going to be ridiculous. I'll have more detail on that in just 1 second here. And then much warmer for the weekend ahead here. I see no other significant snow systems heading our way as we go through the week. Here's your morning temperatures. Look at the winds. They're circling around. 31 first thing in the morning in Fargo. Will be near 30 as well in Grand Forks. That's because we'll be on the warm side of the system, still scooping the warmth out of South Dakota and rocking it here. The snow will continue up north with a northeast flow. It's going to wrap around, become northwesterly. Gusts to 45 miles per hour or maybe 50 miles per hour or better out in parts of Montana and the North Dakota border. 20s there, nose-diving temperatures. And there could be some areas of difficult travel in the far western reaches of North Dakota and, of course, eastern Montana where that blizzard warning is in effect. So snow showers here and there across our area as we go through the early part of the day, including Fargo with temperatures near 31. Look what the temperature is in the afternoon. That's falling. That's going the wrong way. 25 degrees, 21 Grand Forks. Look at the cold starting to make its way in. Not impressive cold, but with 49 mile per hour winds, we're talking wind chills that'll be in the teens below zero in some places. Sunset tomorrow, 4:38 in the morning. Now, this is where things get a little bit rude. 7-day planner. All right, as we take a look, 17 and falling on Tuesday. So we start falling on Monday, 27 down to 25 throughout the day. And then in the afternoon, we're falling to 15. We might rise a degree or two on Tuesday, and then we're falling all the way to zero. We continue falling in the afternoon on Wednesday. Dangerous wind chills down here that are going to be very dangerous. You'll want to make sure you have your survival kit in your vehicles out there, where frostbite can set in 15 to 30 minutes. Now we're talking 10 below for an air temperature on Thursday, still dangerous wind chills. But then finally we start a warming trend after Friday morning. Temperatures will start to make their way back up into the teens to near 20s on Saturday and maybe back to 30 by Sunday as we enjoy a little bit of weather whiplash. Okay, here's what I'm talking about midweek, and this is your heads up. Wind chill is going to be the story as we go through Wednesday and Thursday. You heard it here first. Brandon, Manitoba, 40 to 45 degrees below zero for actual wind chill values. Chance of snotsicles will be very high as we go out there. Serenity, hi, good to have you on. Cold weather to make some ice for fishing. A lot of folks are wanting that, and we're right back into it after just kind of a crummy couple of days for ice fishing out there with the wet, heavy snow on top of ice. We all know that's not good, and ice is never truly safe, so you want to take it easy out there on that. So thank you, Sergeant Rudrider. Thank you very much. It's good to have you on board. Check out these wind chills on Wednesday morning. So dangerous wind chills, it's focused right here in eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota, 20 to 45 below zero. It's still going to be windy, folks, on Thursday. Look at this. Now, the wind won't be as strong, but the cold air, this is the peak of the cold air temperatures will be here. So we're still stuck in the 20 to 35, 20 to 45 below category with the coldest of the air shifting into northwest Minnesota. Yes, making some ice, but you got to check it with all the snow that we've had around as well. So that is a look at your forecast. Now, hutchesweather.com, you can go to anytime, anywhere for the very latest on that. Now, as I turn the page, what I want to let you know is we're going to take a quick look at what's ahead across the greater U.S. because what's going on right now in our area is pretty interesting. And we have some changes in store, but I mentioned not a lot in the way of additional snowfall. For that, we're going to look really quickly at this European model, and we're going to talk about that cold air that's coming our way is going to kick off the lake effect snow machine once again in the Great Lakes region and the northeastern United States. The Pacific Northwest is going to see a couple of systems make its way through as well. So a quick look at the future radar looks like this as we go through on the European model. Here's our little weather making hiccup. Tomorrow, gusty north winds last. By the time we get to the afternoon hours, it's heading into the Great Lakes. Look at this. Heavy bands of snow setting up, but this is on the warm side of the system. This is not the lake effect machine. That's this second of this double barrel low system making its way through. Heavy rain and snow. Now, once the wind changes direction and makes its way down from Canada, that cold air moving over the warmer Great Lakes sets off more lake effect snow. And look at this. There's your first major nor'easter of the season that's significant. Heavy rain on the mid-Atlantic states, heavy snow and lake effect that's going to linger behind this system as we go through the late week. And by lingering, I mean it's going to linger for a while. It's going to be an unwelcome neighbor in places like Erie, PA, western Michigan, big-time snow in the UP and big-time snow in Erie, Pennsylvania, and down from Ontario as well, Lake Ontario. Now, the Pacific Northwest, as we go through, we're going to have that system working its way in right here, and that one's going to be unfriendly to that area. A little bit of mountain snow in portions of Colorado as well. Now, when we go ahead and take a look at the snowfall potential, again, we're not going to talk amounts when we get this far out, but it does give you an idea of the storm track. So the snow over the next 24 hours, eastern Montana, that's your blizzard warning out there. Winter weather advisory, western North Dakota, accumulating on the I-94 corridor. And then this is system working its way in. Here comes your nor'easter on the east coast. And as we take a look at that, look at this band of snow that sets up in western Michigan, the UP of Michigan, and downwind from Lakes Erie and Ontario and Huron for the lake effect machine that takes place mainly Thursday, okay? So Thursday, the lake effect machine really gets going. A little bit of mountain snow in the mountains of Colorado, west of Colorado Springs and Denver for you ski fans, as well as the Tetons out there in western parts of Wyoming. A little bit of snow as well as we go through the next few days as we look into the Appalachians there in West Virginia. There's the Pacific Northwest. It looks like the best chance of that will be with the onset of the system that comes a whole week from now. So that's a look at the national weather and our weather here. What about rain? The rain system making its way through right now. We'll take a quick look at precipitation, and then we'll call it a weekend here. It's been a busy one, and it will continue to be so. Rainfall amounts, heavy rain, upwards of 1 to 2 inches where you see the purple there working its way through. Here's the nor'easter starting up, and look at the rain moving up the Atlantic coast. Very wet will be this weather-making system that works its way in Wednesday and into Thursday. Then it becomes a northerly wind, and there comes the lake effect machine there. So very dry in the southwestern United States. Very wet weather working its way out of the southern prairies of Manitoba and right into the northern Great Lakes, and finally some wet weather returning to the Pacific Northwest by next week. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I appreciate you taking the time to watch me here. And again, thank you for your comments and questions. It's going very good. Thanks for asking, Big Jern. And let's take a look. Serenity, it seems like there's a dome over Fargo. Bismarck always gets more snow. Not always, but yeah, this dome of warmer air that kind of sits here wasn't warm. They got a lot warmer than us, but indeed, just depends on where these storms are coming from, really. So we haven't had a big Colorado low move through here, and it looks kind of quiet for now for the next week, but the cold air will be the culprit. And if we take a look at the cold air moving through the nation, check this out. Look for the purple blob here. Here comes our blast of Arctic air moving into the northern plains, where you see the blue line. That's freezing air that makes its way all the way down south into the northern reaches of Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, western parts of the Carolinas as well. So it's going to be cold all the way into northern New Mexico and northern parts of Arizona as well as we go through midweek. So while we have 20s below up near the international border, we'll be talking about freezing temperatures down south. That is a pretty thorough look at your weather. If you have any other questions, I'll look for them. I like to read your comments and your questions to make sure I do my best to keep you up to date. But for now, you can get the latest on Hutch's Weather and hutchesweather.com. Anytime, anywhere, road reports, you name it, it's all there for you. Thanks for following me on Facebook. It means a lot. It really does help. And you have yourself a wonderful night. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, stay warm, and put a survival kit in your car. For crying out loud, take it slow and be careful.